And we have a very special speaker today. We have Brenda Gagne with us. And this is Brenda's first time on a Daily Dose of Awesome, so let's give her an extra special welcome. And Brenda's going to talk to us today about success, and it's entitled, You Are Deserving Success. Well, thank you for being with us, Brenda, and I'm going to give it over to you.
All right. Well, thank you. I definitely appreciate you guys having me here. And when I was asked to talk about this, I'm like, well, what do I talk about? And they're like, whatever you want. I thought, wow, what could I possibly talk about? I've worked with so many. What would be something that I see very common when working with people that kind of holds them back? And as Sandra said in the beginning, it's really, if you want success, you have to go after it and take the steps, obviously. But that's the one thing that I've learned that is not the biggest factor, which kind of blew me away in the beginning. But when I started teaching people and coaching them, and I would tell people the exact same information, and one person would go out there and do it, and the other person just had excuses and reasons and all of these things that got in the way. And I'm like, what's going on with you? Like, what's up? And once I really started to learn a little bit more, it was all of the deserving issues and the identity that we have with our own self, with our own story, and how the stuff that's happened to us in the past continues to go with you. And so, for the Daily Dose of Awesome today, I really wanted to speak a little bit into that of you are worthy of success, and you may know that at some level, but you have to know that, and I don't mean wish it and hope it. You have to know that at your core and truly believe that, and that's not usually something that comes internally right away unless you've been like this free enterprise entrepreneur, don't go by the rules type of person your entire life. Then it's going to come probably a little bit faster. But for most people that I see that get into the internet marketing space, become an entrepreneur, they probably, and you also probably came from the employee mindset growing up through the public school where you're told what to do. You work hard, you work, and you follow directions, and you just do what you're told. And that's great, and it sets you up to be a great employee. But yet when you're sick of that and you want to move on and become this entrepreneur and be your own boss, none of those things almost matter anymore, because it doesn't matter how hard you work. If you don't get paid and no one buys your stuff, it doesn't matter. You don't get paid for that. You get paid when you make sales. And so a new kind of mentality starts to come about, and that's one that people struggle with. The fact that you can make $10,000 in 2 minutes is not something that people are usually aware of. And when they find out that it's possible, it opens up their eyes, and that's really cool. But it usually is possible for others. And when you find yourself in a position where you've got the tools, and most of you, I would assume, are inside EMP, and you have the system, and so now you have the tools, and that's great. That's half of the solution. The other half is completely believing that you deserve what these tools can do for you, that you deserve that life that you're going after. So that really is the deserving issue, that mindset. That's the difference between who I've seen really goes out there and makes it happen and has success between those that don't. And so the one thing that I really want to share with, this is a quote that I use all the time. I tell it with my students in our community, is, and you may have heard it, but it's definitely something to continuously hear over again, but you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Like, you cannot go out there, and make $100,000 on $40,000 habits and doing the exact same things you're comfortable with. It's never going to happen. So one of the things that you have to consistently be saying to yourself of, am I doing something today that's going to make me grow? And if you're not okay with putting yourself out there, and you're not okay with feeling that uncomfortableness, there's usually a reason why. And if you go in deeper and you go deeper into your own story and into your own beliefs, it's usually because there's a deserving issue there or an insecurity. And so, if I go back and think, this took me a while to understand, and the reason it took me a while to understand is because I actually didn't come from that type of a background. I was an elite gymnast, and so I was very, very used to being put on the spot, being uncomfortable. I mean, many of those things are very dangerous, and you're scared to do it, but you just got to get over it and go out there and do it one at a time. And so the self-confidence factor that I had internally was enough to push me forward, and no matter what, I was okay doing things definitely self-doubt still there, definitely having some issues, perfectionist issues that I would pull through me. But that was the one thing that I had to realize, that I didn't understand why people would just not go out there and do it. And so if you're listening right now, when you're putting yourself online and you're getting part of a system, and you don't want to just be another number in a system. You want to go out there and brand yourself. You want to build your own business. You want to put your name on things, and you want to feel comfortable doing that. But the problem becomes when you do that and you put yourself in front of them, every insecurity that you've ever probably had about yourself is now on view for the entire world to see. And that can be extremely scary for people, very uncomfortable, so much so that it will stop you in your tracks, and you will do whatever you can to do other things that eventually will need to get done, but honestly don't need to be done at the moment, so that you feel like you're being productive, so that you feel like you're building your business, when the reality is you're not taking the steps to put yourself out there. And I see that happen all the time. I just had a student yesterday who finally posted in our group that she put her video online. She has been, I had a one-on-one session with her probably 2.5 months ago. We outlined everything, created her offer, had it all ready to go. She was so excited, and I'm still sitting back waiting for it. I'm like, what's going on? Like, how I know I need to get that video done. I need to get that video done. And that has been hindering her forever, because she has these deserving issues that she is not worthy enough to put herself out there and be on video, because everybody's going to judge her. And I'm sure there's a lot of you at some point down deep in, either deep down or even on the surface, you can relate to that. So I challenge you today, this week, is to do one thing that you're uncomfortable with. And in this scope of putting yourself out there, getting outside of your comfort zone, it doesn't have to be doing that video online. Maybe it's just showing your picture online. Some people have been so far as that they don't want to put their face out there. And if you want to be successful, you have to take all the steps to be able to do that. And ask yourself, why am I feeling that I don't want to do this? If I'm scared to do videos, why is that? And then keep asking yourself the question, why? I promise you can go deep and deep and deep, probably deeper than you want to go. But if you don't go all the way down internally to figure out where these identity issues and these deserving issues are stemming from, you're not going to be able to actually get past this. And once you have that breakthrough, that's when things really start to happen. So, are you worthy of success? That answer should be absolutely. Everybody that you see online, the people that are posting, the people that are having these amazing, $10,000 minutes or $100,000 days, they're not any more special than you. And I remember hearing that when I was getting started, and then my first instinct would be like, yeah, right. Because, of course, they're more special than me. I could never do something like that. My goal was to make that $10,000 month. That seemed so pie in the sky. I couldn't even imagine that actually happening. But, I went to a lot of events, and I got around these people, and I started to realize, wait a minute, they really aren't that special. And, in fact, I'm probably even smarter in a lot of things than a lot of these people. Like, what's going on here? And that's the mentality of the deserving issues. They're not any better than you, any more special, but they're willing to put themselves out there and follow directions and just go, or break the rules and go out there and do that. And that comes with self-confidence. That comes with deserving issues. So you definitely want to make sure that you take a moment and ponder this stuff. Because one thing that I also want to say is I think these calls are so awesome because, so many times people get stuck into like the to-do stuff. Like, I got to set up my blog. I got to link this out there. I got to get my capture page created. I got to get this set up. And there's all these to-do things, and yeah, they're so necessary. But taking the time and 30 minutes to actually plan out what you're going to be doing, or taking the time to just sit there and think, seems like it can be unproductive at times. And things that you can do to be able to build your business. And me personally, I love the teaching aspect of things. I'm always trying to find teachable moments. It goes back into my elementary days when I used to teach, first and third grade, but also coaching. I coached gymnastics for many, many years. And so I always like to pull things into like the how, like what can you take away from this, because I know our time is almost up here. But just think about what you're doing right now online, and the perfect thing for you to start thinking about is, who am I attracting, who's coming in, and what issues are they actually having? And you got to pay attention to the people that are asking questions, even if it's not to you yet, but the people around you, the leaders that in their space, the other people in your community. who's being attracted to this type of offer, and what questions are they asking? Because if you tend to notice the same question over and over, that's a signal to you that you can create something for that. You can create a video, you can create a product, you can put yourself into that equation of this big system that you're a part of and start standing out. But the only way that you're going to feel comfortable doing that is if you have the mentality of, yes, I absolutely know what I'm talking about. I know more than the person that's coming in, and I definitely can do this. You know, when I was getting started online, I was part of Systemo, so I had no idea what I was doing. I only knew how to check my email, and search on eBay. So I'm completely brand new to this stuff. But after about 4 months doing exactly what I was told to do and not questioning it, you know, I certainly had people. I was building a little bit of a team. I had income coming in, but I noticed I was getting the same questions. So I thought, well, shoot, I don't want to be part of this system. I want people to know me. I want to be out there in front. Why don't I just create this product that answers these questions people keep asking me? And within 4 months, you know, I was almost too ignorant to be like, I don't care. I'm just going to make something. Who cares? And I put this course out there, and people bought it. $67. Who knew that people would actually pay? But what I did was make their life a little bit easier because I asked the questions that they were maybe too scared to ask, or they were asking in a group and they couldn't get forward. So I just encourage you today to think about where can you put yourself into your business that you're creating. If you already have a business and you're really pushing it out there, how can you charge more for your products? How can you create a $1,000 offer? That's stuff that we're doing with people right now is, you know, if they're selling a $37 offer, well, that's amazing. But what other talents do you have? What other value can you have? What can we package up to give you a $1,000 offer? So that way you can obviously make a lot more money a lot quicker. And when you're put in that position and you're okay with it and you're ready to accept the success that comes and you're deserving of it, that's when the magic can happen. So, boom, 15 minutes right there. I figure I'd wrap it up and put it back to you, Sandra. So I definitely don't want to go over my time.
Oh, no, that's great. And it was perfect. That was fabulous. Actually, that was a lot of stuff packed in those 15 minutes. Yeah.
You know what? I tend to talk very fast, and I probably should have said that. I usually preface that because I'm like, I just can't slow down anymore, especially if I get passionate. And I love this stuff. So sorry, guys, if I did talk a little bit too fast.
Well, that's why we have the replays, which is awesome. But I wrote a couple of things down that you said, Brenda, and you know, one of the things that you said was, you know, to be comfortable, we need to be comfortable being uncomfortable, and that's so true.
Yeah.
And the thing is that, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
You know, I was just thinking about the transition. You know, I think one of the hardest things for a lot of people is to transition from the work for someone else, the employee mentality, to the entrepreneurial mentality, because there are so many skilled and talented people in the employee place, with the employee mentality, but there is that safety net when you work for a company or for someone else. You know, if something, if the company is not a success or whatever, there are a lot of things that you can point the finger to. But when you work for yourself and you've got your own business and it's not going anywhere, you can't. There's nobody to point the finger at. So that's really scary. That's really scary for a lot of people, but it's something that we have to get over because, you know, our success and our failure depends on us.
Absolutely. One of the things I also say in addition to that is fail forward. I say that all the time. Like, I failed my way to success. I failed forward every day, and I tell a lot of our community that, like, it's okay to fail. There's so many times we have this stigma against failing, and it's like you can't get over that, and there's no way you can go on. And, you know, I've failed so many times, but I don't consider that a negative thing. To me, that's just a learning experience. Like, okay, well, I mean, yeah, sometimes it's really unfortunate, and I'm really upset because I worked really hard at something, but it's like, okay, well, that didn't work. Now I know. Let's go try something else. And if you just go with that mentality and you're okay and you're not really relying on a specific outcome, then I think you'll be able to handle it a lot better. That's where I definitely see a lot of people just get crushed, is when they're really set on a specific outcome and that doesn't happen. That's hard to overcome. So being able to let go of the results of what you're going to do and just accept what happens is another way to just kind of help you push through that.
Right. Awesome. Well, Brenda, thank you so much for being with us today.